later down the road. Yeah. Anything sinking in? He had a plan and a purpose for Jerusalem down the road. If you wiped out Jerusalem, where would Jesus come? How would Jesus come? His word wouldn't be true, would it? As the prophet said.
Well, see, I'm doing a good job.
You sure are. You sure are. You sure are. I give you credit for that. You sure are. You sure are. I'm amazed. Jesus had to come to Jerusalem.
Because what's in Jerusalem? The city of David.
But if he wiped it off, then his word could be true. The prophet had prophesied in times past.
What was the promise?
What was the promise?
The promise was that a seed would come through David. That was the promise. Wipe Israel. If he wiped Judah out, wipe Jerusalem out, then he's not faithful to his word. What am I saying? If he made you a promise, he will keep it. Don't worry about what it looks like on the outside. Right? But you got to bring it back to the center.
Thank you for that, Brother Ezekiel. One of my questions today was going to be, why did he wipe out everybody in the northern kingdom, and he seemed to be, said he's no respected persons, but he seems to be a little more lenient toward those to this group.
Judah.
That's why.
And we're going to get a lot more into that and talk about that in a little bit more detail, time allowed. We're going to move on a little faster. Okay, so the first subtopic is corrupt leaders. And we'll read those scriptures and we'll dive into that. What would you say in America is Baal is many things. Baal could be many things, right? Right? God is giving strong, stern warning today. He's giving strong, stern warning today. And he's warning America. It's supposed to be built on the foundation of the earth. Foundation of biblical principles and whatnot, right? That's what America's supposed to be built. The Constitution is supposed to be built on principles. But he's protected America for a lot of years. He's protected America for a long time. I think probably because, a friend of Israel, and he says he's always protect Israel no matter what. All those countries in the Middle East can be doing whatever they want to be doing, and internal fighting and whatever, and attacking Israel on every front. And Israel sits there kind of all alone.
All of them.
All alone by itself.
But
it's still there. It's still there. It's still being protected. And I think this is a lesson for us all. This is a lesson for every one of us. That as we leave, we should be trying to figure out what are we going to do as a result of God's strong warning. What are we going to do as a result of what was taking place in the world today? What we're going to do as a result of the warnings that God has given to us. Make it personable to see what we are. And God protected America for a long time. But as I remember I said last week, the church doors aren't going to always be open. And that's what Jerusalem, that's what Judah is finding out today in today's lesson. Is that one day the church doors are going to be closed. One day you won't be able to enter in.
Grace runs out, Brazil?
Grace runs out.
Grace runs out?
Grace runs out.
What?
If grace didn't run out, God's word would be true. He would be true to his word. And he says, I'm not alive, and I have to be true to my word. And that's why these strong warnings, that's why Jerusalem, that's why Judah had to get this punishment that they're going to receive in today's lesson. They had to, or God's word would be true. He said, I swear by my own word. I can't do it by anybody. I swear by my own word. These things have to take place. If you are continuing in sin, if you are continuing to do the things that you're doing, there are consequences that you're going to have to pay. If you didn't pay the consequences, then what would happen? You would think it's okay. You would think it was all right. And that's what Jerusalem, that's what Judah is facing today. Is that God had to come in, and he had to step right in, and he had to be true to his word. Otherwise, you feel confident where you are and what you're doing. And when Pastor Jackson got up and gave his little overview at the beginning, that was my thought process, is that the tests, the trials, the tribulations, the things that come in our lives, take some time, move us closer to God. As a result, they are needed. Lord have mercy, I don't want them. It's tough for me to say that I appreciate them. It's tough for me. You better people than I am. It's tough for me to say they're welcome. You're better people than I am. I'm just going to tell you right now. I struggle with it. Okay? You don't, but I do. I struggle with it. You know what I mean? It's tough to thank the Lord for whatever the trials and tribulations. And sometimes He brings us in slows and grows and nourishes. But it's tough. But hopefully you learn something from it. Hopefully it makes your walk, your relationship closer to God. And that's what it's all about. That's the process. That's the means. And those are the things that move us in that direction. And the examples, it should be examples for the next time those things approach us in our lives, that, hey, I've learned from my mistakes. I've learned from those trials and tribulations. And that's what God was trying to show. That's what Zephaniah was warning Judah here in our lesson. So we'll get into the lesson now. We'll read the first 4 verses here. Corrupt leaders is the subject. Corrupt leaders. Okay. Corrupt leaders. All right, Zephaniah. So much to be said here. If we don't move to the next 2 subtopics, let's get this one down pat. Okay. This reflects America today. This reflects where we are. This reflects the church today. Okay? And this corrupt leader, this is what was happening within the church. Nothing new on the sun, right? Nothing new. I ain't talking about whether you're Republican, or Democrat, or Independent, or wherever you are. This affects us all, and this is where we all stand right now. Okay, further. Let's read it together. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction.
She trusted not in the Lord. She drew not near to her God. Her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not the bones till the marrow. Her prophets are like treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the law.
Okay, so much there. Woe to her that are filthy and polluted. What does woe mean? Woe to that. There are a lot of woes in the Bible. Woe. And you get over to the 23rd, Matthew 23rd chapter. It just, what a woe. Woe. Jesus was saying woe.
Read that.
Oh, yeah, read that. Jesus. All through Matthew 23rd chapter, woe. Jesus was saying woe, 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 woe. You know, that's a strong, stern warning. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know? So he's saying, curse it. It better behoove you. Listen to me now. Because this show enough gonna happen. As we say down in Alabama. This show enough gonna happen. You know? Be assured. That's how we say it in Alabama. Be assured. That means, hey, take heed. Without a doubt. And that's what Jesus was saying in Matthew 23rd chapter. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted. He's talking to, remember he's moved to Jerusalem now, the capital city. And he's talking to the people back to Zephaniah is talking back to the population of Judah, of Jerusalem. And he's saying, woe to the filthy and polluted, to the oppressing city. What was oppressive about it? I know y'all had a chance to take the books on now. What was going on? What was oppressive about it?
What was depressing or oppressive?
Oppressive.
Because it has become, everybody was doing it. The leaders, and it was coming down from the top. The leaders were worse than, people were looking to their leaders, and that's what they were seeing in their leadership. The leadership was living that way. They were
4 knocks. She obeyed not the Lord. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord. She drew not near to God. Isn't it different than today?
And they were also steeped in sexual sin.
You've been waiting on, you just lay them out there. That's good. You covered them all, I think. You know what I mean? So they were arrogant. They were know-it-alls. Those they had probably, if we relate to, they had PhD degrees, why they do all those things. You know. They had degrees. You got degrees. You two got the degrees.
You got degrees. You got
my little. I need to say it again.
You got degrees.
My little Alabama State.
Joe got degrees. Dave got degrees. You know, but Daryl got degrees.
I ain't say nothing.
You know, degrees. You know, they always my little Alabama State. My little Alabama. Number Alabama.
But they were arrogant. They were know-it-alls, and they were taking advantage of the people. They were
terrible.
They were taking advantage of the people, and they were taking advantage of the poor more than that. And you know, something always through the Bible is that God always makes mention. He always emphasizes the widows, women, and the poor. He always covers those. Jesus always talked about the widows, women, and poor. Like they were, you know, he had an extra protection for them because they could be easily taken advantage of. They could be easy. All 3 of them could be easily taken advantage of, right? They could be easily taken advantage of.
President, can you talk about how they were moved to slavery? Can you talk about how they, the systematic way in which they enslaved individuals?
Yeah. And so,